Well, you talk about a picture-perfect Saturday night. Doesn't get any more beautiful than that, does it? Sunset in Richmond, Virginia. Just about time to go truck racing at a track we've been racing at from a NASCAR perspective since the early 50s, Mike.
And I've been racing there since the early 80s, as you have too, Phil. But check this racetrack out. 7/10 of a mile, turns banked at 14 degrees. You can see the length of the straightaways, but what I want to tell you guys at home, slick. This thing is slippery. These tires are going to fall off, and we're going to see a lot of slipping and sliding.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. So you can see this race is 250 laps, 187.5 miles. Stage 1 is 70, stage 2 is 70. You see that final stage right around the same as the pit window. We will have pit stops, I think, in that final stage. They have one set of tires for that final stage, I think. And when you put them on, that's going to be the key.
Worldwide Express 250 for carrier appreciation. Starting lineup, Ty Majeski, third career pole. Won that this afternoon in qualifying. Stuart Friesen, and then how about Lane Riggs, that Hallmark Friesen team owning row 2. Zane Smith, certainly somebody to keep an eye on. John Hunter Nemechek won this race a year ago.
There's Matty D back in row number 5. A lot of experience here in the Cup Series.
Tyler Ankrum always good here at Richmond. Carson Hocevar there.
Good qualifying effort from Austin Wayne Self. There's Corey Heim, two-time winner this season. Back there in row 8.
A couple of teammates there in row 9. Jake Garcia, Derek Kraus.
You saw Tanner Gray and Haley Deegan in row 10. They had crew chief swaps this week. So Jerry Baxter working with Haley Deegan, and Mike Hillman Jr. has gone over to work with Tanner Gray. We'll see if that plays into their fortunes tonight.
See Rajah Caruth back there, had a great truck in practice, messed up a little bit qualifying. Watch him come towards the front.
One start, and he finished 11th in St. Louis, so he knows how to get it done on the short tracks. Coming down pit road here, just checking our pit road speed. Some of the final preps these drivers will go through before lining up and go racing.
Let's get a final update from pit road. Begin with Regan.
Well, Vince, all the talk about playoff guys and trying to win a championship, there is also guys in the field trying to get their career started. Lane Riggs, one of those, a 7th place 2 weeks ago at IRP in his first career start. A lot of speed again this weekend. He starts 4th tonight. Said he would love to be able to transition into a full-time ride, but he knows a big part of that is having strong runs in the races that he can do right now. Josh?
Well, guys, sometimes progress is a slow process, and the 16 of Tyler Ankrum admittedly said it's taken longer to gel with his new team, but he feels like lately they started to hit on something. Coming off his best finish, 6th place at IRP, comes to Richmond, 2 starts, both finishing in the top 5, and he said if he's going to get a win, it's going to happen here tonight, guys.
We'll see if he can carry on that good history momentum for himself here at Richmond, and a bit of an issue for the 52 of Friesen. They left the fuel cap in, so they're going to grab that out.
Let's hop on board with a couple of trucks. Carson Hocevar in the Worldwide Express Chevy. He's going to roll from the 12th position up on the outside. You see Carson poised and ready to go. He's got a bumper cam for us. Hope we make it through the night. I wouldn't bet on it, Phil.
We're also going to ride with last year's winner, John Hunter Nemechek. He's going to be carrying the Safeway Toyota. He's going to be starting from the 7th spot. He's got that visor cam that we love so much. And just a few moments ago, this is the radio conversation from John Hunter.
Just make sure I don't do anything stupid tonight.
Oh, I assumed that was the game plan going in every weekend. Sorry, I'll bring my A game tonight then.
It is the game plan every week, but sometimes, you know, I just don't listen. So I'll listen tonight for you.
Well, it's kind of similar to what we talked about. I mean, you feel a little more intensity with the playoff races. Sometimes it makes you do things you think afterwards, why did I do that?
Exactly. And in short tracks just lend itself to a little bit more bumping and stuff. It's you're not going to knock anyone into the wall with a minor bump. We saw a lot more than that at IRP though a couple of weeks ago.
Boy, what's that feeling like? I love when those lights go off on the safety truck. It's time to come racing at this historic little short track up in Virginia. These drivers all have one goal in mind, and that's surviving and getting to victory lane.
Grant Enfinger did just that in our playoff opener at IRP, so the thought of him winning both races to start the playoffs, don't count it out. Brett Moffitt did it in 19, Sheldon Creed did it in 2021. And both of those drivers, by the way, were driving for GMS, and Grant Infinger drives for GMS.
There's a common denominator there somewhere,
Vince.
Vince.
There is. So can Infinger start the playoffs with 2 wins in a row? We're about to find out. Majeski and Chandler Smith on the front row, and more racing in Richmond.
And we're 3 wide at Richmond. You can see John Hunter slides up the track a bit there.
Still battling for the lead. Majeski on the bottom. Chandler Smith in the white truck on top.
Mike, you talked about this racetrack being slick. This is as good as it's going to be right now. Once they get a few laps in these tires, they're going to be slipping and sliding.
Friesen lurking in third, and his teammate Lane Riggs right behind him in fourth. See the pylon on the left-hand side in yellow, those drivers that are in the playoffs. The green highlighted Grant Infinger already secured a spot in round 2 with the playoff opening win.
How about a strong move by Friesen to grab that second spot?
He said, I hate second place, Phil. The last 2 nights in his dirt car up in Delaware, he finished second. He said, it is not going to be second tonight, Mike.
Crafton on the inside, taking a spot from Hocevar. That's a 12th.
How do you like Crafton's chances? I think an experienced veteran has a bit of an advantage here at Richmond. He knows how to take care of those tires. He knows what's coming with the tire give up and how slippery it is.
And a couple years ago, he finished second in a 1-2-3 Thor Sport finish.
Just 1 top 5 for Crafton this season, but he's just continues to just manage and make his way and advance and get a solid result, even though a lot of times he runs deeper in the field, and then at the end of the night you look up and go, oh, top 10 for Crafton.
And he's never missed the playoffs either, Vince.
And remember, in 19 he won the championship without winning a race, so Crafton can get it done. He doesn't always have to take it to victory lane to be successful.
And he might think he won the race at IRP. He languished back outside the top 20 most all night long, was able to scramble at the end and get a top 10 finish and keep himself just a handful of points out of moving on.
Says the guys mentioned downstairs prior to the green flag. Crafton working with Shane Wilson, new crew chief this week. So Shane's been around a long time, so it's a nice match, I think, for he and Crafton. We'll see if it provides results for the 88 tonight.
You see Crafton stalking Matt DiBenedetto in the Rackley Roofing. Chevy, we know that Matt's going to be back next year. Not a playoff contender this year, but wouldn't be surprised to see him contend in some of these races.
Nice start for Ty Majeski, really strong at IRP. Now he's short tracking again on Saturday night. Fastest truck the last 2 or 3 laps in a row, pulling away from second place Stuart Friesen.
Crew chief is Joe Shear Jr., who was the crew chief for so many years with Johnny Sauter, championship crew chief, and undoubtedly has played a key role in the success of Ty Majeski this season.
It's amazing how they have really gelled, because there's been a number of times that this has been the best Thor Sport truck. All 4 of those Thor Sport trucks made the playoffs, and a lot of times that 66 of Majeski has been the best.
There's John Hunter Nemechek in the 4, right behind Lane Riggs. Riggs 7th at IRP in his Truck Series debut as Nemechek drops down to the inside trying to grab that position.
Great view from that visor cam on John Hunter Nemechek's helmet.
Nemechek won this race a year ago.
In dominating fashion too, Vince, and you can see how that move to the bottom is just, it's the perfect lane. That's the best line to make moves and gain ground. If you start running up high, you're just going to wear your tires out, Regan, as you well know.
Well, Michael, that's the message to many of these drivers already. Take a listen to the radio on Ty Majeski that we just got.
Extension away. Make sure we're saving our stuff here, just like Pensacola. Good and smooth, nice and straight.
Talking about Pensacola,
Save
the Snowball
your stuff,
Derby.
just like Pensacola. That's it. That's right. That's where the Snowball Derby is, reminding him to race it just like that, which is a race that he has won before.
That's a heck of a short track race to put on your resume, isn't it, Vince? The Snowball Derby.
You know, I think it's interesting too, and as you see Chandler Smith get around Friesen for second, saving your tires. I mean, it's an art, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh yes.
It's an art that I never got an A in. I'll tell you that, because
we might have got C's, Michael.
maybe at the best. But Chandler Smith, I talked about him in the Open. I feel like this team is in a good spot mentally, and he had to survive a couple of brush-ups a couple weeks ago at IRP, and now here he is fighting his way into the second position. And the last time by, for the first time, he was faster than Ty Majeski, even with a pass.
Majeski builds that lead early. Can he hold on to it? Going to have a lot of challengers before we're all said and done at Richmond.
Laps into stage 1 here at Richmond Raceway. I'm Jesse Punch. I'll be your reporter all weekend long here, bringing you the action currently in the Truck Series, race number 2 of round 1 of the playoffs. Brandon Finger driving that 23 for GMS. He is the only playoff driver who is locked into round 2 at this point in the playoffs, coming off a win at IRP. But that win, he was already confident heading into this weekend's race at Richmond. And Finger won here back in 2020, and he said of all the racetracks on the playoff schedule, this is the one he had circled on the calendar. He feels that this short track, slippery track, unpredictability, tire wear style racing fits his driving style, coming from a short track background. So he was surprised to see that win at IRP, but would not be surprised to see some success here this evening at Richmond.
Camping World Truck Series playoff racing from Richmond, Virginia, presented by Blue Emu. Ty Majeski started on the pole, and it's a small track, but he's got most of it. He's got a large portion of it all to himself. Chandler Smith is almost 3 seconds back.
Yeah, I talked about Chandler running a couple faster laps than Majeski. Well, that went away in a hurry. Ty, recently a couple of tenths on the field each time by. This battle's heating up. John Hunter got around Stewart's teammate Lane Riggs a couple laps ago, and now you can see off of his helmet, this is his visor cam, what that sight looks like as he tries to track down the 52 of Stuart Friesen.
And listen how smooth he is on the throttle, too. To try not to spin those tires.
And the reason why I feel that directly relates to how he's able to keep that wheel cut to the left on exit. Listen. If he gives it any more gas than that, he's got to turn right because it's going to be sideways. That's precise, great short track driving.
This is one of the tracks that Nemechek just has seemed to adapt to naturally. I mean, he won here last year. In the spring, he ran the Xfinity Series race, almost won it, led 135 laps, ended up finishing second. But he has said this is one of his favorite tracks. They've had this one circled on the calendar for a while.
Remember that Xfinity race, he was moved by his teammate Ty Gibbs from the lead.
10th place, Tyler Ankrum in the 16, Matt Crafton in the 88.
I almost think like Matt Crafton might be holding his breath a little bit right now. We saw, and I talked about the disastrous race that early was at IRP. Now he's making slow and steady progress to the front, clipping him off one at a time. He's just thinking, as the veteran I spoke of, all right, let me keep that right rear under me. Let me make sure I don't scrub off the right front tire. Just steady progress all night long is what he's looking for, and he's doing a nice job early.
Nemechek moving on Friesen for third.
A lot of times the best thing to do when somebody catches you from behind at a track like Richmond where the tires are so important, just let that battle go. Let that position go, fall in behind John Hunter, and try to pick up something off what he's doing.
Because there's a significant amount of space behind these two. I mean, you're almost 3 to 4 seconds back before you get another truck. So he could fall in right behind and they'd be just fine.
And if I said that to Stuart Friesen, he would say, what are you talking about? We're in a race. I'm not letting him go.
Remember early in the race, though, Stuart Friesen was able to get by Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith did exactly what you're talking about, Michael. Followed him for a few laps, passed him. Now he's a second and a half ahead of this side-by-side battle.
And I just feel like the tires just wear more if you go up top and run up there. I think the best way to take care of them is just to roll around that yellow line on the bottom. We still got 44 more laps to go in this stage to take care of those tires. Another spot gained there by Matt Crafton.
Oh, and Ankrum got right in there, and that's his teammate, Ankrum's teammate, Chase Purdy, on the outside of that 61.
I really like the way Matt Crafton looks right now. We haven't talked a lot about Matt Crafton moving forward this year.
But this is, like I said, this is a Matt Crafton type track. He has all the knowledge in that helmet right there to go out and win this race. Others are going to lack some of that because of that lack of experience.
Crafton says his favorite kind of tracks are the ones you have to get out of the gas, and this is certainly one of those. And remember, we're going to Kansas next, and Crafton a multi-time winner there. So these next two races maybe lining up for a possible Matt Crafton win. Enfinger.
Lane Riggs.
Lane Riggs.
Drops off just like we talked about. Got in behind last race winner Grant Enfinger. And this is another impressive start to the race for Riggs. I mean, only in his second start, he's up there mixing it up with the winner last time out. Grant Enfinger as they race off turn 2.
Yeah, Riggs was 7th at Raceway Park in his debut, just 20 years old, the son of former NASCAR racer Scott Riggs. Majeski into some lap traffic now and starting to maneuver, but that lead at just under 3 seconds. It's been a Ty Majeski show so far at Richmond.
Still 36 laps to go here in stage 1 from Richmond Raceway. I want to give a quick shout out to the rookies. Now, if you look at the Truck Series history here at Richmond. This is only the third race in recent history. It took a bit of a hiatus here from 2005 to 2019. So where do the rookies come in? Well, they don't have a lot of experience here, and they definitely don't have a very big notebook to lean on from previous years. So all 5 of the rookies in the field, this is their first start here at Richmond. And Corey Heim, the current leader of the rookie standings, is the best running rookie right now, currently running 15th. Now, Corey didn't even start this season planning to run for that Sunoco Rookie of the Year honor. He started at a part-time capacity, but when he found victory lane pretty early, he decided to go for the title. Keep an eye on all 5 of those rookies making their Richmond debut here today.
The #1 most watched regular season window in all of college football is Big Noon Saturday, and it doesn't get any bigger than, how about this one? #1 Alabama against Texas to kick it all off. Start every Saturday with Big Noon kickoff, then the day's best matchup. It's all season long, and it's only on Fox.
Big Noon.
Ooh.
That's a big game.
Bama and the Longhorns, how about it? And how about the performance of Ty Majeski? Started on the pole, and he is checking out. Tough to do on a short track. He's got a 3.7-second lead and building.
See that truck just ahead of him, the 7 of Rajah Caruth. Rajah had a great practice, started deep in the field, and has just not been able to move through, and he's in danger of losing a lap here early in that beautiful #7 truck.
You know what's amazing is when you get into lap traffic, you think it should slow you up and maybe bring everybody close. He's increased his lead by a second since he got into lap traffic.
And that just tells you how good his truck is. He's able to maneuver around trucks better than the people chasing him, and that's the reason why he's been able to extend that lead. Maneuverability on a short track is probably one of the most important things you can have, because there's going to be traffic, there's going to be people in your way.
Rajah Caruth in the 7, giving Majeski plenty of room. Second start for Rajah.
Doing a great job in the ARCA series this year. Had led the points much of the year. We're over halfway through, and he's just fallen back to second, but he's within about 5 points of his teammate Nick Sanchez for the lead.
How about that 66, Regan?
Well, Vince, I had a conversation with him earlier today about what his expectations were prior to practice. He told me this is the most confidence he has had coming to a racetrack all season long. A strong run at IRP, along with the fact that he had a brand new race truck for this particular team. This is the truck that Johnny Sauter ran at Indianapolis Raceway Park. That confidence was oozing earlier today, and it's clear that that's paying off right now. Josh?
Well, John Hunter Nemechek in the 4 had some concerns about that right front. He was worried it was starting to go, but his crew chief Eric Phillips told him it looks fine from here. Just lift a little earlier on entry. They said the last couple laps just looked a lot better. Otherwise, John Hunter cruising in 3rd right now.
Yeah, I think what John Hunter certainly wants to be patient, be in position, knows it's a long race, and at times this season he's grown impatient. Consider, he has the best average starting position in the series, the best average run position in the series, but he has just 1 win, and that tells you he's not closing it in the final stage.
Yeah, where he did last year, certainly in the regular season with 5 wins.
And Phil talked about all the great things that Zane Smith has done, and it's like John Hunter's been on the verge of doing all those things, but just can't close the deal, as you said, Vince.
Now he's got his teammate Chandler Smith just ahead of him, and those two have had some moments together in their young career. Nemechek and Chandler Smith. That's Jack Wood in the 24 between them.
But what a solid lineup that KBM has put together this year with Nemechek. And how about Corey Heim? 2 wins already this year in a partial schedule, as well as Chandler doing such a great job.
And Heim's back in the 12th position, as you see there on our pylon. But don't think that he can't come back and get a solid top 5 and maybe even win this race. He'll learn more and more about that truck with every lap. He's still a rookie, a kid, and he's figuring it out.
Yeah, who would have thought amongst those 3 that Nemechek would have the fewest wins this season? Smith has won twice, Heim's won twice, Nemechek just with that 1 win.
Watch those hands. I love that. Listen to how gentle John Hunter is on that throttle. You said it, Phil. That's what short track racing's about.
You got to keep those rear tires under that truck and not spin those rear tires, because they have a memory.
They get mad at you.
They do get mad at you.
Speaking of memories, Nemechek's probably happy that he's not around that truck, the 17, That's Taylor Gray. That's who Nemechek spun in overtime last race at Raceway Park. Taylor Gray was on his way to a win, and Nemechek got into the back end of him and sent Gray to the wall. Certainly hard feelings after that, but right now Taylor Gray's back in the 17th spot, and Nemechek is up in 3rd.
Which means our defending champion, Ben Rhodes, right there in that 99, is right in front of the 17. Josh, what's going on with Taylor Gray?
Well, Taylor Gray talked about just how frustrating it was at IRP to be turned when he had the lead. He says it's always something that seems to get in his way, but this just stuck differently with him. I asked him if he spoke to John Hunter Nemechek after. He said there's nothing to talk about. His crew chief, Chad Johnson, told him, hey, let me handle this, and he said, we'll handle it on the track, and left it at that.
Let's go back and take a look at that, what happened at Raceway Park, and there's Nemechek. There's no way to explain it other than the fact that he just dumped him.
Yeah, Taylor Gray had just passed John Hunter Nemechek. He had a little bit fresher tires than John Hunter did because of some pit strategy, and he passed him clean. And I think if John Hunter hadn't run into him in that corner, he would have never seen him again because the 17 was getting ready to drive away for the last few laps.
And you can see competitive again. You talked about our defending champion there, Ben Rhodes, and Taylor's just all over him, and I think you can see the patience too, Vince. He hasn't roughed him up. He's a little bit better right now. Let's hear what they're saying on the radio.
I'll never understand why guys that are running for points championship race that way on lap 50 of the race.
That's crew chief Chad Johnston. Whoa. And a little contact maybe between Gray and Rhodes trying to get around.
Gray gets loose. As these tires get more and more heat in them, it's really hard to hold your truck off of another when they're on the outside. But what Chad Johnson was talking about was just relentless holding a guy up. Like we said, it was obvious Taylor was faster than Ben, but that's the truck series, Phil. They don't. These races are short, and they don't give much ground ever.
Chad Johnston, always the crew chief with Taylor Gray, even when they're running ARCA or doing something other than truck series racing. It's still Chad Johnston as the crew chief, and boy, what an advantage that is for a young Taylor Gray at 17 to have a guy like Chad Johnston, former Cup Series winner.
But how about the presence of mind of Ben Rhodes to realize that the 17 was in a vulnerable spot right there? Actually, he was in the most vulnerable spot. If that 17 gets way sideways, he's going to turn that 99 around. Ben moved up and gave him some room.
I might be worried if I'm Ben Rhodes because he is going the wrong direction. The defending series champ has some work to do on that truck. 17 to go in stage 1.
Laps complete here from Richmond Raceway. We just saw that 99 of Ben Rhodes make a little bit of contact on the racetrack with the 17 of Taylor Gray. Ben made a point to say over the radio that he's the one running for points here. Ben Rhodes entered this race 4th in the playoff points, 36 points above the cut line. So no major concern entering this race, but Ben is a winner here at Richmond. Ben is coming off a 2nd place finish last weekend at IRP. Does not have a win here at Richmond, but has an average finish of 5th. Has finished no worse than 7th here at this racetrack. Now Ben, the defending series champion, knows exactly what he needs to get it done here in the playoffs and is hoping to advance himself with a win at Richmond here tonight.
Camping World Truck Series racing from Richmond, Virginia. Great to have you with us tonight, along with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch, Regan Smith, and Josh Sims on pit road. And Ty Majeski is walking the dog in stage 1. He leads by 4.7 seconds, and adding to it, it has been an incredibly impressive run from the jump for Majeski. Started on the pole and is on the roll.
2 trucks in front of them, Vince, is his teammate, Ben Rhodes, who desperately needs to stay in front of Majeski to stay on this lead lap at the end of the stage.
Yeah, 10 to go here in stage 1.
And this is a huge point in this race for that truck of Ben Rhodes. He's just looking in the mirror saying, race him hard, Tanner. Hold up our leader. Let me get away. Tanner Gray down on the bottom in that 15 truck.
Is this more indicative of how good Majeski's truck is, or how far off Rhodes might be?
I would go B. I think, you know, Ben Rhodes, a champion we talked, he's had ample time to work his way up through the field, like we saw Matt Crafton doing early. Obviously, his truck isn't under him like he likes. He's just hoping that he can run 8 laps mistake-free and hold off the leader, Majeski.
Vince, I think it's A and B, because right now Majeski's opened up over a 5-second lead over Chandler Smith in second.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be C, all the above?
Yes. Or certainly A and B.
Nemechek's truck's pretty good as well, as you see him make the pass on Chandler Smith for second.
And this will be interesting too. We got 7 to go in this stage. What these drivers and crew chiefs decide to do for adjustments. We know how much these tires fall off, and that's going to change the truck. Do you just stay the course, or do you also know that the temperatures are cooling off and the track's going to maybe pick up a little bit of grip? What do you do if you're the crew chief?
A couple of teammates right there, the 88 of Crafton, the 98 of Eckes. They are 8th and 9th.
Just a few moments ago, Tyler Ankrum, that we know runs so well here, drove up and passed Matt Crafton. He's gone on to pass Lane Riggs as well to move up to the 6th spot.
Matt Crafton is desperately trying to hang on to that point. He's trying to get a stage point. We talked about the guys down at the bubble. That elimination line is intense.
And that's them right there. Both those drivers are the ones below that line.
Eckes and Crafton. Meanwhile, up on the left-hand side of the screen, Ben Rhodes in the 99, and he's trying to keep from getting lapped by his teammate, Ty Majeski.
You think Majeski will just give him a break and not push the issue?
I don't think so. I talked about truckers. They don't give any ground, and I believe that's what Majeski will do. If he can get that position away from Ben Rhodes, he's going to take it.
But they're teammates, Michael.
But there's a championship on the line, Phil.
Majeski does have a lead of more than 5 seconds. I mean, he could be extremely patient here with that kind of lead and maybe cut Rhodes a little bit of a break.
I think he's going to. I really do.
It'd be different, I think, if the second place truck was right on his tail.
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
Well, that'll be a big break for Tanner Gray, who's watching and hoping that you guys are right. If Majeski doesn't go up there and pass his teammate, Ben Rhodes, and that'll give the free pass to Tanner. Tanner's
pretty good here, just right.
Well, that's nice of him. I didn't know you could do that.
That was Majeski.
I thought you said these guys raced hard every lap.
Well, we'll see. Really, with the big lead that he has, as you can see Crafton trying to gain a spot here. He was able to hold off Eckes, and now he's going after Lane Riggs. See, he opened up a gap there.
Yeah, heavy traffic they're going to run into right here too, Michael.
That's Jack Wood right in front of him in the 24. Pits are closed here as we're in the final lap of stage 1. Remember, those stage points still available. So these playoff drivers want to be inside that top 10 and get at least 1 stage point. Majeski continues to cruise. And looks like Rhodes is going to be able to hold off Majeski. Maybe a kind teammate allowed that to happen as Ty Majeski wins stage 1, his 3rd stage win of the season.
You know, one thing we didn't talk a whole lot about is Zane Smith, Vince. Zane Smith finished outside the top 10 in this first stage.
Very un-Zane Smith-like this year.
69 of the 70 laps here in stage 1 belong to Ty Majeski. So you take the 69 he's led tonight, the 71 he led at Raceway Park, 140 laps in the last 2 races. He had 35 career laps led before the playoffs began. All Ty Majeski.
Stage 1 is complete here at Richmond Raceway, and Ty Majeski continues to hang on to the lead to earn the first stage win. Now, when you take a look at those top 10 finishers, look at that 7th position, the 62 of Lane Riggs, making his debut here at Richmond, and he made his series debut at IRP in the last playoff race for a 7th place finish. Now here tonight, he qualified 4th, continues to run in the top 10, finishing top 10 in stage 1 here. His very first time on this racetrack and just getting his toes wet in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Plenty of racing to go here as pit stops are about to begin.
Stage 1 results and the points that come with those finishes. Certainly important for those guys highlighted in yellow. They are the playoff drivers. Good run. Lane Riggs again. And Tyler Ankrum has been top 5 in his 2 races here at Richmond, so not really surprised to see him up there.
Don't you just love it when a kid like Lane Riggs gets an opportunity and we get to talk about him like that? Short track racer, cut his teeth on tracks like this, and now on the big stage able to run up the top 10 with these guys.
And all those drivers hoping to get a chance have got to be rooting for a Lane Riggs too.
Absolutely.
To say, see, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. Give me a chance. They're on pit road for the first time tonight. Let's go down to Regan Smith.
Ty Majeski, so far a perfect run, but the jackman for that truck slipped going over the wall with problems on this pit stop already for them. That truck pretty good, just a little snug center. We'll have to see if they can recover from this pit stop. And the 52 of Stuart Friesen, just a little bit loose in with that race truck. Josh?
Well, the 18 of Chandler Smith said he's too tight off brake and off throttle, so they're going to take a round out of the right rear and make an air pressure adjustment. And for John Hunter Nemechek, he said he's getting a little too snug and losing drive off, so he said, help me turn without losing that drive off, guys.
Easier said than done.
If you ever were curious, did everyone get 4 tires? Then they did.
Yes.
Always.
Every time.
Yes.
See if we can see what Regan was talking about. The jackman for the 66 falling. Oh
boy, sure did. Oh man.
Looked like he might have twisted his ankle when he landed.
Well, that could have been much worse, but
what a heads-up move by Ty Majeski. You saw that orange square. That's where he was supposed to stop. He saw him having trouble and stopped shorter. That would have been a lot worse.
glad no injury came of that.
Boy, look at that. Bounces right back up and goes to work.
right, pit stops are complete, and we are moments away now from starting stage 2. 2 Toyotas leading us to green here, 2 Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks, I should say. And now, if you remember the last time we raced here at Richmond, it was that Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek that found victory lane, and he had to hold off the boss, Kyle Busch, to do so. Now, John Hunter, of course, would love to get a win here tonight, which would by automatic lock him into round 2 of the playoffs. But like I said, still a lot of racing to go here as stage 2 is getting ready to get started.
Pit stops at the end of stage 1 have come and gone. Welcome back, Richmond Raceway. Here's a good look at Paul Steele. He's the jackman for the 66 of Ty Majeski, who came in with the lead. Now watch, I mean, you talk about tough. This is why.
Oh, his knee, it looked like his knee buckled, but man, off the ground and up and jacked that truck and only lost 2 spots.
Yeah, I just love the job at Ty Majeski. You see that orange box there? His left front fender should have been all the way up to the end of that line. He saw him having trouble and stopped short. It could have been a lot worse for sure.
I'll tell you what means the world to me, that smile on that young man's face, because that looked tough.
How about radio for Majeski?
Guys, good recovery there, good recovery. We'll get her back next time.
That's a confident driver right there, isn't it? He knows what kind of truck he's got under him tonight. He's going to start on row 2.
You know, as you said, Mike, amazing. He only lost 2 spots, so kudos to the crew for getting in and out despite that issue with the jackman. And all KBM front row to get us started here in stage 2. John Hunter Nemechek inside and Chandler Smith outside.
Chandler Smith got a big jump there. I hope that he did not go too soon. John Hunter maybe laid back a little bit, and it made that break that Chandler got look even greater, but
Was that freezing inside of Crafton? It was.
Yeah.
I thought they were touching last time I saw him.
This is the thing I'm interested in, Phil. We know how good Matt Crafton was on that long run. We expect that. His experience let him take care of those tires. He's really going to have to hustle here for a few laps, keep that track position so he can continue to march forward.
Grant Infinger trying to hold off Majeski for 3rd. Not going to happen. Majeski snags that spot.
And I think this is where Majeski's experience comes in. A veteran short track racer. He's not going to push the issue. He knows that they lost a couple spots on pit road. He knows he has the best truck here. Certainly did for that first stage. So just take his time. Try to wait till the tires get a little heat on them and then go after Nemechek and Chandler Smith.
Taylor Gray dropping down to the inside, trying to grab a position from Eckes.
Here comes Corey Heim, all the way up inside the top 10, 6 racing there with Matt Crafton, that 51 truck. I told you he would be strong throughout this race, and he is on a roll.
A little contact there between Gray and Eckes. Got Eckes out of shape a little bit. He tries to work the outside now of his teammate Matt Crafton. Good battle, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Matt DiBenedetto right there in 10th, keeping an eye on it, looking for an opportunity.
Remember, Matt Crafton drove up and passed his teammate Eckes in that first stage. Maybe J-Rod made some adjustments to Eckes' truck, made it a little bit better.
Hocevar and Purdy just inside the top 15.
Hocevar's not been as good as we thought he would be tonight. Had such a good run on the short tracks. Oh, a little bit of a bumper there.
Just underway, stage 2. Ty Majeski dominated stage 1, but had an issue on pit road, lost a couple of spots. Chandler Smith inherited the lead on pit road, and he and John Hunter Nemechek run 1-2 with Majeski third.
Only 18 trucks on the lead lap. That's what kind of pace that Majeski was running in that first stage.
One of those trucks is Ben Rhodes because of the free pass.
Ben right there,
Rhodes
yeah.
back there in 16th. And Rhodes told us during practice today he wasn't happy with the truck. They just couldn't find that comfort level with it. And that has carried over. He was hoping that it would be different in the race, but Regan, it doesn't seem like much has changed.
Yeah, Vince, it really has. Wholesale changes on this most recent pit stop to that truck. Spring rubbers, tape on the grill, wedge adjustments, everything you can throw at the race truck, they threw at it. But accompanied with the problems of the handling issues are the brake issues that he had in practice. He is still having those same issues right now. He said the brakes are pulsating and shaking every time that he hits the pedal. Michael, Phil, you guys know as well as I do, when that's happening here at Richmond, there's no way to get the truck to handle good.
Yeah, you know, it's a distraction too, Regan, because it's shaking so hard. You need so much brake getting in the corners. Watch how much heat there is here. This is not an excessive amount, but it certainly can add to any shake that you have. You can see nearly on fire as he enters the corner. See if we can figure out what he thinks about the brakes. Checking in on his radio here for Ben Rhodes.
Brake shake is unreal. It's bouncing my foot off the pedal. I turned the brake fans off to try to fix it. I guess you guys saw it glowing and told me to get back on it again. Playing with the brake, trying not to wreck.
And he's also...
Not sure why I have brake shake. I've had it since the start of the race.
Yeah, we should have never tried this.
Uh-oh.
It's interesting. Obviously trying something different.
And you know, Phil, these teams use the brakes to try to help them turn into the center of the corner. And that might mean some different pads, some different brakes that this team is trying, and obviously already regret it. You can see Brett Holmes goes by Ben Rhodes, and here comes on the inside Lane Riggs getting that spot.
Well, now Rhodes has got to be in a situation where he's just trying to salvage the best possible finish he can get. It's a tough way to go when you're not even halfway through the race.
I'm trying to see where. .94 laps complete here from Richmond Raceway. That 19 truck of Derek Kraus currently running in the 13th position. Derek was the first driver to not make the playoffs on the cut line earlier this season. Now Derek historically isn't great on short tracks. He has one top 10 finish in his short track career here in trucks, and his best finish here at Richmond is 15th, but currently running in the top 15 here in stage 2. Derek has gained a substantial number of positions since the start of the race, and if he could hold on, he may be on his way to his best short track finish of his career.
The 18 of Chandler Smith continues to lead here in stage 2 at Richmond. Welcome back. Camping World Truck Series playoff race number 2. It's presented by Blue Emu.
Couple of lap trucks that Chandler works his way through. It looks like smooth sailing for that 18 truck, no issues.
It looks like the first stage for Majeski. Now it's Chandler Smith in stage 2.
Here comes Taylor Gray working on Christian Eckes just inside the top 10.
Matt Crafton just did away with Eckes. Vince, and you can see already drove off by 3 or 4 truck lengths, and here comes Gray as well. So Eckes on a bit of the struggle bus at the moment.
Another impressive performance from Taylor Gray, the 17-year-old out of the David Gilliland Racing Camp. That 17 truck's been a good one this year. They've won a couple of times. Todd Gilliland and Ryan Preece have both driven the 17 to victory this season. Taylor Gray had a real good shot at it at IRP and having another good go tonight.
We got 3 ARCA wins already this year for Taylor Gray.
Really smooth there. You could see off the corner, able to keep that wheel pretty steady as he exited. We know how tough that can be here at Richmond. You can see there he has some temperature in those brakes as well. It's a fine line. Sometimes the brakes can be too cool and it'll cause them to shake. Other times it can be too hot.
Yeah, and that's what I think Ben Rhodes was talking about. He turned his brake fans off to make them run a little hotter, thinking that may have been why he had the brake shake.
Battles all over the track, and this one's for 21st. That's Jake Garcia, 17-year-old in that 35 truck, and the 30 is Caden Honeycutt, another teenager, 19 years old from Texas, and they're just it doesn't matter where you are short track racing, what position it is, you better be driving it hard or somebody's going to be on your bumper.
Well, and Raj is trying to join this battle. You can see him back there in that 7 truck. Jake with a great qualifying effort, and Caden just done a really good job being competitive. This is a race just outside the top 20, and you know, in the 19th position is Brett Holmes in the 32. He's the first truck a lap down, so they have him circled as the guy they need to go get in case the caution were to fly.
Rajat Karuth there in that 7 truck, his second truck series start. He was 11th at Gateway. Also balancing his racing career with his studies. He's a junior at Winston-Salem State.
You know, it's quite amazing to me that, you know, this is a short truck. We talk about beating and banging. We ran that entire first stage without a caution. We haven't had any other cautions for any incidents. And this racetrack lends itself to that. 2 years ago in 2020, we had 3 green flag runs of over 50 laps. So you would think that we'd have cautions galore, but we don't see them here.
So this kind of, let's look down the road a little bit into stage 3. We know they'll pit at the end of stage 2 and get tires. They'll still have a set for stage 3, a 110 lap stage. They can make it all the way on fuel, but they're going to want tires at some point. Green flag pit stops, or would they elect to just stay out and not pit if by chance they had these runs? I mean, you don't pit under green in this situation, would you?
I think you stay out. I mean, you would hope for a caution about halfway through that 3rd stage, but if you don't get it, then these guys are going to be those tires barely holding air.
Yes, and somebody, Vince, is liable to take a chance and say, I'm coming to pit road. We saw strategy win the cup race in the spring. Denny Hamlin's team played some differing strategy than Kevin Harvick, who was actually maybe the fastest car on the track that day. So they know, these teams study what the other series do as well. The trucks are much different than the cup cars, obviously, but the pavement is exactly the same, and the fall off, it seems, is about the same as well.
We saw a 2-second fall off from the fastest laps these guys ran early in the race to at the end of that stage, a full 2-second fall off.
What about this Tanner Gray?
Yeah, he's on the roll.
Drove around Matt Crafton. Look at the gap he put on him. 2nd fastest lap time last time around for the 17 truck. The only truck faster was Stuart Friesen just up ahead as our leader Chandler Smith is working through some lap traffic.
Yeah, Taylor Gray, just 17 years old, the brother of Tanner Gray, but Taylor just 17 years old, and talk to those folks around him and they talk about his maturity and not just his talent, but his maturity that makes him seem a little older than 17 years old. And there's a lot of youngsters trying to get a shot. This kid has gotten one, and working with Chad Johnson, crew chief, they have made a very nice pair.
Caught a glimpse a few moments ago of the 38 of Zane Smith. He snuck up into the top 10 for the first time in this race. Remember, he was outside the top 10 at the end of that first stage. There's Corey Heim. He's the next victim for Taylor Gray. I would guess he's running in the 6th spot right now. Taylor Gray was the fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap, guys.
Zane Smith in that white 38, driving down to the inside of the 98 of Eckes. This is for 9th. Eckes trying to hold on as his truck has seemed to be going in the wrong direction. Smith gets the spot. How about Chandler Smith continuing to lead out front, but it is tight everywhere. Carson Hocevar right up under him. Welcome back. Camping World Truck Series racing from Richmond, Virginia. The 18 of Chandler Smith out front. He has dominated this second stage much the way Ty Majeski dominated the first stage. Smith, it's been a pretty big week or so for Chandler Smith. Had his first child on August 2nd. He and wife Kinsey welcomed Chandler Smith Jr. during the off week, and now he's got an opportunity maybe to put his first playoff win of 2022 in the books, but we've still got a long way to go. 20 left here in stage 2, but Chandler Smith looking strong. His teammate John Hunter Nemechek runs behind him in second, about 3 seconds back. And looks pretty good in that 18 truck, Josh.
Certainly does, and they've been telling Chandler Smith, hey, your pace is great right now, don't burn up your stuff. Chandler Smith focused on the standings, asked about the lead he has over Ty Majeski there. As far as his teammate John Hunter Nemechek, he said he's got good balance, just a little tight in the center in 1 and 2, Regan.
Well, the 66 of Ty Majeski right now struggling with that race truck being too loose in after he lost the track position on the most recent pit stop. The 52 truck of Stuart Friesen right now, that truck is having brake shake and brake fade, much like many of the other guys that we're hearing in the field. The 23 at Grant Enfinger, that truck right now just too tight. He's using too much brake through the middle of the corner. And Corey Heim in the 51, they are trying to get him into a rhythm. He is struggling to get into his rhythm on this racetrack. Josh?
Well, someone who's not struggling to get in a rhythm is the 17 of Taylor Gray. The team is telling him, you've been wrapping the bottom great. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Let's move to the 88 of Matt Crafton, looking for just a little more grip, but running right now 8th. So in the top 10 and looking to keep moving up. And then we move on to the 38 of Zane Smith. He said the bump was killing him into 3 in the first stage. It's gotten a little bit better as he's moved up to 9th, Regan.
The 98 of Christian Eckes having continued struggles with the short tracks right now. That truck no grip early on in the race at all. The last report from Christian Eckes is it's absolutely plowing, sitting in the 10th position, trying to get every stage point he can. He's below the cut, trying to work his way back up.
Got a couple of those playoff guys down below the top 10. As you see Hocevar on the left-hand side of your screen running 14th, and Ben Rhodes, who's really been struggling tonight, back in 17th, as Chandler Smith puts Honeycutt a lap down.
You know, that sounded like typical short track racing, doesn't it? Somebody's got brake shake, another guy's tight, loose. It's just typical what you get on these tight tracks. And guys like Grant Enfinger now pushing past Ty Majeski up to 3rd. This team struggled through the regular season. Now here they come, baby.
Michael, you talked about it too, how the track was going to change, how it was going to cool off. Nobody would have dreamed that Ty Majeski would be struggling the way he is right now, as good as he was in that first stage.
How much of that is the change of the track or the change of the truck and where he is positioned in the track and the traffic?
I think there's been a dramatic drop in temperature. When I say that, the ambient temperature obviously has gone down, but when the sun comes off that asphalt, it changes dramatically. So the track position obviously is a big factor as well, but I think it's more trying to keep up with the track, making the right adjustments at the right time.
Here's Lane Riggs in the 62. He was running inside the top 10 during the first stage, and then they had a disastrous pit stop over 30 seconds, and he has now fallen all the way back to 15th. He's actually gained a few positions from where he came out of the pits.
Both of these drivers are right now racing for their lives because they know that our leader Chandler Smith is coming. Ben Rhodes is the next guy to get put a lap down, and these guys are right in front of Ben Rhodes.
There's our leader Chandler Smith racing with Jake Garcia, putting him a couple laps down, and they're just ahead of him. That's the trouble spot. Ben Rhodes, defending Truck Series champion.
Now remember, Rhodes at the end of stage 1 was also in the clutches of the leader in regards to falling a lap down, but the leader was his teammate Ty Majeski, and Majeski cut Rhodes a bit of a break. Chandler Smith probably not going to cut Rhodes the same luxury.
Vince, I'm guessing you're right. I'm guessing he would love to put Ben Rhodes down a lap.
And he's going to do it too. Still got 10 laps in this stage, and watch just how much better that 18 truck is sticking to the turns.
Ben's going to do all he can do to keep that 18 behind him. If he can just hold him up for a few more laps to prevent the 18, and now as the 18 moves to the inside from lapping another truck, then he would get the free pass. But if the 18 gets by Ben and goes up there and grabs De Benedetto, then that puts Ben Rhodes in trouble.
How miserable is it when you're in a car, or in this case a truck like Rhodes is in, that is just not doing what you need it to do?
Well, when you're a champion, it's even worse, Vince. He knows he's got what it takes to win this race, and he just can't get his truck to cooperate. Seems like there was some communication that the team maybe figured that they picked the wrong brake package here at Richmond, because that's been his main challenge so far, as you see Stuart Friesen trying to swing around Kaz Gralla in that 02 truck.
Yeah, Gralla lap down as well. Friesen is in 7th.
So wicked loose. I see it.
Or we have a tire going down or something.
I think it's pivoting off the right front. They're just blowing it around.
Don't need to make it. Just survive and do what we can.
That's all you're trying to do, just run 7 laps here. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when your truck's acting like that, it seems like an eternity. And there's the problem for Ben Rhodes. Around to Benedetto goes Chandler Smith to grab that spot away, and now Rhodes will not get the free pass and back on the lead lap.
So Rhodes into Benedetto, both a lap down, as is Tanner Gray and Brett Holmes. And then you get into those that are 2 laps down, including drivers like Rajah Caruth, Joey Gase, Kaz Grala,
Haley Deegan, a couple laps down. You can see there's red glowing brakes on that 18 truck, but he's not having any issues. So possibly the problem with the 99 is too cold, like you said, turned off the blowers to try to heat up those brakes, burn some of that excess brake rotor, brake pad material off.
There's Lane Riggs right there. Remember, Lane Riggs was in the top 10 in that first stage. Would love to stay on the lead lap, even if he gets past here. But Chandler Smith doesn't go up and get the next guy, which is going to be Carson Hocevar. Then he's going to get the free pass. So this is the lesser of 2 evils right here.
And he's overcome that disastrous pit stop to move up through the field to be in a position to try to hang on to the back of our leader and stay the first truck 1 lap down.
Well, short track racing, you would anticipate maybe you're going to get some cautions. We have been caution free, not a single caution in the first stage other than the stage break. And here in stage 2, 3 to go, and no cautions in this stage either.
Same situation as at the end of the first stage. Here we have Carson Hocevar driving for his life here with 2 laps to go in this stage to try to stay ahead of this 18 truck. And Lane Riggs pulling for Carson Hocevar to stay in front of this 18 truck.
Lane Riggs said, I really don't know Carson Hocevar, but I hope he runs the lap of his career here. If he can get through 3 and 4 here and just hold off that 18 truck, but look, it's not going to happen. And you know, Chandler Smith is just not taking any prisoners. That's a playoff driver. He wants him a lap down.
He knows that Hocevar will get the free pass, but he will lose his track position. He will have to start at the tail end of the field. So that's okay for Chandler Smith. He said, I'm good with that.
What a terrific truck Smith has under him here tonight. Kudos to crew chief Danny Stockman as Smith comes around, and he is about to win stage 2. 3rd stage win of the season for Chandler Smith. The battle for stage points to the line.
Majeski grabs the 4th position over Taylor Gray and Corey Heim.
20-year-old Chandler Smith in the mix for a championship and looking very worthy tonight.
Two stages complete here from Richmond Raceway. A lot of racing action to go, though, when it comes to this second race of round 1 of the Truck Series playoffs. Take a look at those top 10 finishers, though, in stage 2. Notably that 5th place finisher, the 17 of Taylor Gray. Now, Taylor, this is his first start here at Richmond, and when it comes to short tracks, he doesn't have an extensive resume at short tracks. 1 top 10 in his career on short tracks, but Taylor, a strong run here tonight. We did see him make a little bit of contact earlier on there in the race, and he did make quite a bit of contact last race at IRP with John Hunter Nemechek. But Taylor, not road playoff driver, looking for his first win, and steadily on his way now to not only his best short track finish, but his best finish in his first run here at Richmond.
Back at Richmond, 2 stages complete, getting ready for pit stops here at the break. But you see John Hunter Nemechek, Chandler Smith, the 2 KBM drivers have scored the most points tonight. Chandler Smith won stage 2, Ty Majeski won stage 1. The top 6 are playoff drivers, but kudos to those guys like Taylor Gray and Corey Heim, Tyler Ankrum. They've done a nice job tonight as well.
Here they come, Vince.
On pit road, some key adjustments to be made right here for some of these teams. Regan Smith is awaiting the 66 of Ty Majeski.
Well, Vince, what a difference one stage makes. The truck that dominated the first stage now very tight in the center and loose off for Ty Majeski. Said he burnt the right rear off early on in that run. Nothing is good right now, according to the driver, the 23 of Grant Enfinger. That truck has the same tendencies as the first run, too tight in the middle. He needs them to free the middle of the corners up. Josh?
Well, the adjustments they made at the end of stage 1 for Chandler Smith were perfect. No adjustments now. They said just keep on doing what you're doing. For John Hunter Nemechek, said it was a little squirmy to start, but it got better. They went a half back on those adjustments they made at the end of stage 1, guys.
Smith and Nemechek, first 2 off pit road, and Enfinger, Majeski, and Taylor Gray, the top 5. We're going to come back for the 3rd and final stage. Who's going to win playoff race number 2?
One more stage to go here from Richmond Raceway. One playoff driver we haven't highlighted too much tonight is that 88 of Matt Crafton. Now, we've talked a lot about a lack of experience across the field here in Richmond due to the Truck Series extension hiatus from 2005 to 2019. But Matt Crafton, of all the drivers, he does have experience here at Richmond. 7 starts on this track with a best finish of 2nd. Crafton, he's a 3-time champion of the series. His most recent championship just a few seasons ago, he won without winning a single race that season. Now, I chatted with Matt a few weeks ago at Media Day, and I said, Matt, based on the talent level of the Truck Series playoffs this season, can it be done again to get the championship without a win? He laughed and said, it can be done, but it's definitely not likely. Matt Crafton starting in the top 10 here to begin stage 3.
Camping World Truck Series Racing from Richmond, Virginia. Presented by Blue Emu. Grant Enfinger won the playoff opener at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Tonight here in race number 2 of the playoffs, Ty Majeski dominated stage 1. Chandler Smith dominated stage 2. And now Smith will restart on the outside of the front row alongside his teammate John Hunter Nemechek. Majeski starts on the inside of row 2 along with Grant Enfinger.
Well, Nemechek would love to wrestle the lead away from his teammate on this restart.
We have not had a caution other than the stage breaks. So this restart is important. Who jumps out and grabs that lead? And it is Chandler Smith.
Did a great job on that outside, getting good grip. See him 3 wide back there.
Corey Heim sticking his nose in right in the middle.
Like Grant Enfinger is going to prevail on the outside. Going to nose ahead of Majeski.
Taylor Gray squeezes inside of Corey Heim. And Majeski rekindle that magic he had at the start of this race. He's around Eckes in the 98. Nice, sets his sight on Enfinger.
So Majeski in 4th, Enfinger 3rd, and there's Eckes in 5th. Eckes has struggled a bit. We've seen his truck kind of go away on him during the course of the first 2 stages, but maybe they've tuned it up and he can hang tough. That would be critical for him as he's outside the cut line in this playoff picture.
Boy, Corey Heim really dove in there. Taylor Gray cut him off, and I don't think he liked it that much. And you can see trying to grab that spot away, and he loses momentum. Zane Smith goes around the outside.
A huge block thrown by the 17 of Taylor Gray.
Everybody's played nice through these first 2 stages, but
that didn't look too nice, Vince.
I was going to say, we're in the 3rd stage now, and I got a feeling that's all going to change.
Didn't look nice at all.
There's only 2 stages of niceness in this race, Vince.
Check this out. Huge block, like you said. And I think Heim was trying to block off Zane Smith, and Taylor Gray was trying to block off Heim.
And Zane Smith was right there in that 38 truck saying, oh, please don't create any issue that I get caught up in. Enfinger and Nemechek for 2nd. Nemechek holding on to it for now.
How cool is it to see Enfinger with this kind of pace? I mean, we talked about how the regular season, and he said it himself in a couple of interviews, we just didn't have any speed. Well, he does now, right when it matters the most.
Is it too simple to say Jeff Hensley?
I think that's a lot to do with it. I talked to Jeff today, and he said, we learned a lot in the simulator before IRP. We made several adjustments based on what we learned in the simulator, and every single one of them worked. We're going to come here to the same way to Richmond. We're going by the simulator. We're going to live and die with the simulator. Looks like it's working pretty well.
Well, and this is their 4th race back together as Hensley came back on board as crew chief just before the Mid-Ohio race. And of course, won last week at IRP, running inside the top 5 again. And this has been a good track for not just Enfinger, but for Hensley too. He won here with Mike Skinner way back in 2005, and then of course with Grant a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he won 2 in a row. One was in 2005, one was 2020.
Weird how that works. There's Ty Majeski, and what a dominant truck he had in stage 1, but trying to rekindle that magic here in the final stage. Certainly didn't have it in stage 2.
I'm just wondering now, Michael, if we get a caution flag anytime, are people going to fight? Say, okay, we haven't had many cautions, really no cautions, Vince, as you mentioned, other than the stage breaks. If we get a caution anytime for the next 10 or 20 laps, do we put our last set of tires on then, or do we try to save them?
If I'm Carson Hocevar, Stuart Friesen, they're back 13th, 14th, I stay out. I do the opposite. There's Friesen. He sped on pit road on that latest pit stop. He put him all the way back to the last truck on the lead lap. He's 14th position. So I'm going to mix things up. As you see a big dive in there by Hocevar, taking them 3 wide in that 42 truck. Haley Deegan in the middle of that mess. Excuse me, that's Lawless Allen there. Haley chasing these guys down.
And Friesen said, I really shouldn't even be here, but I sped on pit road.
How about Hocevar, Josh?
Yeah, and Carson Hocevar hasn't been happy with this truck all night, but the adjustments they just made on that last stop have Carson Carson very happy. He said, finally, I have something I can work with here.
Oh, those new tires couldn't hurt any either.
Yeah, but
that'll make you feel like your truck is a lot better.
I think he's smart enough to know that whatever changes they made improved his truck. He's driving away from Friesen back there. But like I was saying, Vince, or Phil, if the caution comes out now, if I'm back outside the top 10, I'm gonna do the opposite. I don't care. I'm gonna take a chance. I might stay out on these tires, hoping for another caution in order to have better tires at the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last week you weren't gonna let me have any tires. Now this week you're giving them away left and right.
Well, you've only got one set, so you're going to. That is the key, though, and you might get a caution and then come in and get them, and then those that say, well, I'm going to wait for the next caution. We've seen the long green flags run. You may not get a next caution.
Well,
and then you're really sunk.
We're talking about how they're not going to play nice, and we do see in the intensity cranking up. There's a battle between Eckes and Smith. There's Taylor Gray, just solid in the top 10 week in, week out.
We're in the third and final stage, and it is Chandler Smith's party.
Less than 100 laps to go here from Richmond Raceway. You may have just heard Carson Hocevar on the radio, very happy after that last pit stop following the end of stage 2. He says he finally feels like he has a truck that he can do something with. Now, on the contrary, the 18, our leader, Chandler Smith, leaving pit road, he came over the radio and asked his team that they were sure that they got all of the lug nuts on following that tire change. He said the truck just felt weird leaving the pits. Now the team assured him that everything looked fine on their end. They wouldn't have sent him out if they weren't confident. He continues to hold on to the lead here in stage 3, but something to keep an eye on as we're hearing minor complaints from Chandler over the radio.
.80 to go at Richmond. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs. Chandler Smith out front. Ty Majeski won stage 1. Smith won stage 2. Each of them doing so in dominating fashion. And now Chandler Smith out front by 2.5 seconds over John Hunter Nemechek. Got some radio from the 18 camp.
You know what you got. We're just telling you to ride so you don't burn it up, but you do your deal, okay, buddy? You're doing fine here. Easy in, hard off, baby.
That's a confident young man right there, and I love it. We had a good chance to sit down with him a couple of weeks ago at the Fox Sports Studios, and you could just feel the confidence beaming off of Chandler Smith. And out leading the race and telling them it's easy in and hard off. He's telling them exactly the strategy that he's using to lead this race.
We mentioned earlier, became a father on August 2nd, Chandler Smith Jr., and made the comment earlier in our practice show where he said it's given him a new perspective on life already. And he's only 20 years old. Well, how much of a perspective can he have? But certainly a child will make you look at things a little bit differently, that's for sure. Congratulations to Chandler and his wife, Kinsey.
Battle for the 5th position here.
I just love how Eckes has improved his truck throughout this race. Outside the top 10 early on in the first stage, really didn't look very competitive.
And he said he couldn't even drive his truck at IRP. Would come to another short track, it wasn't good early, and now look at the recovery they made.
Yeah, crew chief J. Rod Prince has gone to work on that truck, that's for sure, over these 2 pit stop opportunities to make changes. Taylor Gray right there hunting the 98. You see our points at the top of the screen there, and it is tight around that cut line. Look at that.
Whoa. Gray really lost some ground off turn 2 there. He slipped the back tires a little bit. You can see Eckes is able to drive away.
We talked about Stuart Friesen and his speeding penalty on the stage 2 brake caution. Now he finds himself the last truck on the lead lap. He's only about 6.5 seconds ahead of our leader, Chandler Smith. Would be disastrous for Stewart to go a lap down here. There he is right there, the 52, racing with Jack Wood. Jack right now is running up in the 21st spot. Pretty solid run for Jack, 2 laps down.
He's got company though from Haley Deegan. She's improved her truck, Phil. They made the pit stop, and whatever adjustment, she likes it. She's going to try to get around Wood as they race toward turn 1. Really aggressive on the entry there. You can see diving in deep and making it stick down on the bottom. Nice job there by Haley Deegan.
Another one of Haley's teammates there in that 17. Taylor Gray out of the David Gilliland Racing camp.
You wouldn't be surprised to see Taylor Gray just drive away now. Looked like he had a better truck than Christian did at this point in the race.
A couple of spots back is the 38 of Zane Smith. And Zane's kind of hung around that area. Has not been up inside the top 5 much tonight, but comfortable in his playoff standings. Although, you know, he'd certainly like to be up there challenging for the lead and a potential win. But our next race in the playoff structure will be at Kansas, where he won earlier this season. And you can be sure they've got that race circled on the calendar to go back and sweep at Kansas Speedway.
He dominated that race too, didn't he, Vince?
Indeed.
Looks like Eckes is slipping back toward Zane Smith as well. He'll have his hands full here in a bit with that 38 truck.
Yeah, Corey Heim right behind Zane Smith as well. Corey running in the 8th spot in that 51 KBM truck. Here he is.
And with the fact that we've had no yellows outside of the stage break, means Lane Riggs in 15th is a lap down. I mean, they have lapped up to the top 15.
And I'm telling you, Stuart Friesen's going to be in hot water here before much longer. You can see they're 19 seconds back, and it takes about 24 to make a lap.
If you're outside the top 20, you're at least 2 laps down. That's, you don't see that very often.
You see that 99 left side of your screen, Ben Rhodes. He's in danger of going 2 laps down.
Less than 70 to go. And it is a Chandler Smith show so far. Can anybody jump up there and challenge him?
from Richmond Raceway. The only playoff driver locked into the round 2. 23 of Grant Enfinger currently running in that 4th position. Grant was honest heading into this race. He said coming off a win really didn't change anything about their approach to Richmond. They're still coming with the same setup that they had planned on. However, knowing that he has that locked-in playoff spot in the next round does give crew chief Jeff Hensley a little bit more wiggle room to maybe take a gamble. He said track position or potential pit position could be a little bit different depending on what they want to try, knowing that they have that locked-in spot. Now, based on the fuel window here at Richmond, all of the trucks are expected to have to at least one more pit stop here before the end of the race, which could be our first opportunity to see this 23 team try something a little different than the rest of the field.
Chandler Smith continues to lead. Advantage almost a second as we look at our Blue Emu race summary.
Really two different races. We saw stage one, Ty Majeski dominate, lead every single lap. Had trouble on pit road. Chandler Smith took over, and it's been a Chandler Smith show ever since.
Yeah, but so far, you know, he's only driven away by about a second in this stage. John Hunter dealing with some lap traffic, but I think he's improved that Ford truck. See how it goes as they put more laps on the tires.
Yeah, John Hunter's going through that same traffic that Chandler Smith just went through. Chandler's opened up another half second, about a second and a half lead now. It got down below a second, as you said, Michael, when Chandler was in that heavy traffic.
All these teams do have another set of tires. They won't need to stop for fuel, but boy, they would welcome an opportunity to put some fresh rubber on these trucks. But will they get an opportunity to do so with a caution? We haven't had any cautions during the stages so far. Only the 2 stage break cautions.
Lane Riggs is the first truck a lap down. Everybody wants some tires. He would just really like to have a caution so he can get back on the lead lap racing here with Carson Hocevar.
Tires would be a bonus for him then, wouldn't they?
Got 2 things going on. There's Corey Heim.
Crafton joining that battle as well, guys.
I think it's been a better run for Crafton tonight.
Yes.
Way better. He was terrible at IRP and he knew it. They pitted early, made some adjustments, never did really get the truck a lot better, but persevered all night long at IRP to get a top 10.
Yeah,
something we didn't see coming early.
That was wins come in different shapes and sizes. Him finishing top 10 at IRP was one of those, I think.
But he's had a solid truck tonight, though. He's been in the top 10 both stages, now running comfortably up in the top 10 right now in 9th. It looks like he has a better truck than both these trucks in front of him.
You know, we talk about these long green flag runs, and Richmond has produced those in the past. The longest green flag stretch this season before tonight was 66 laps. We've had 2 tonight, 2 green flag runs that have been more than 60 laps. So it is, and it's been a bit of a change tonight.
It's looked a lot like this most of the way, though. 2 and 3 wide battles all over the racetrack. Just nobody caused any accidents yet.
Do you see that side-by-side battle? And Chandler Smith just turned the steering wheel left and drove underneath both of those trucks, Jack Wood and Caden Honeycutt.
You said it, Phil. Crafton maybe a little bit better than the guys he's raced against. I think that's him around.
That was a lap truck, I believe, of Spencer Boyd. Now he's going after Eckes.
Yeah, he's trying to get up there to Eckes. Really closed in a lot over the last couple of laps.
Hey, on Sunday, join Adam Alexander and Larry McReynolds and Trevor Bain, noon Eastern tomorrow. FS1 for NASCAR race day. Hard to believe only 3 races before the Cup playoffs begin, and we'll hear from Martin Truex Jr. outside the cut line. Can you believe that? Plus, Kevin Harvick talks about last week's win and his playoff chances.
What a huge win for Harvick last week, wasn't it? Wow.
The closer closed them down in Michigan. What about the remaining races we have? We're going to go to Daytona to wrap up the regular season.
A couple of teammates, Lane Riggs and Stuart Friesen. Riggs gives Friesen a little bit of room and then comes right back on the outside, and just to make it interesting. Kyle Larson, by the way, won pole in Cup qualifying earlier today here at Richmond.
And he went off to run a dirt car somewhere.
You're running at the Knoxville Nationals.
This is
a little bit of
great
maybe
battle
just
here.
a bit of a contact there between Crafton and Eckes, and Crafton backed out, lost some space.
Caught a glimpse of that 19 truck. That's Derek Kraus. A good run for Derek right now, running in the 10th spot. Been solid all night long.
Can't tell if they actually made contact here or just
so slightly, and they just sent Crafton straight up the track.
Yeah, it looked like he maybe lost the air on the nose of that truck or whatever, lost several truck lengths.
Now he's got to go work hard to gain them all back and try to get that spot away. Then he looks in his mirror. You mentioned it, Phil. Derek Kraus solidly in the top 10, doing a great job here late and going. 50 to go. Just for you folks listening, watching at home, if there's a caution flag, everybody will pit.
Yes, yes.
We want some tires.
There's a 61 of Chase Purdy. What a nice run he's having. Still on the lead lap right now, racing with Carson Hocevar. That's for the 12th spot. His best finish this year has been 11th, but he's been solid all night long. Good job, Chase Purdy.
Out of the Hattori Racing Camp, so Purdy and Ankrum both running 11th and 12th out of that group.
And you can see Hocevar just steadily marching his way back toward the front.
That's Brett Holmes, former ARCA champion, right there in the 32. He has gotten by Lane Riggs. Now he is the first guy one lap down if the caution flag were to come out.
And you know, we heard Carson say, I like my truck, the changes helped it, and he's right. Like he's able to keep some pretty good pace right now, not in danger of going a lap down like he had been earlier.
How about Brett Holmes trying to get by the 61 of Purdy? That's the 13th place truck right now. Brett Holmes is in the 15th spot. Again, the first truck one lap down, but his truck is coming alive right now.
First race for Holmes since Texas. Been a while since he's been in the truck. Less than 50 to go. Chandler Smith out front.
Less than 50 laps to go here from Richmond Raceway, and surprisingly, we have still not seen a caution for any on-track action. Now, it is worth noting that in 13 total Truck Series races here at Richmond, more than half of those, the final green flag stretch, has been less than 5 laps. Now, if we were to see a caution again, it would be the first one of the day, but if history were to repeat itself, things could be shaken up quite significantly here in Stage 3. .42 to go at Richmond. Chandler Smith continues to lead, but it
has gotten tight. John Hunter Nemechek is within striking distance, and the lap traffic really played a role as Chandler Smith gets up to the back bumper of Lane Riggs. And watch this.
What a save by Lane Riggs.
Haley Deegan swings by the outside, and that's going to give John Hunter a chance to take him 3 wide into turn 1. But Chandler Smith's tight on that bottom and is able to drive away. Look at that. What a save.
But the comfortable lead that Chandler Smith had is gone.
Boy, we had fans and team members of that 18 about swallowed their gum when that happened, because watch Nemechek here in this 4 truck, and all of a sudden, boom, he's in position to maybe challenge for the lead on the outside.
Up in the 3rd lane.
Chandler Smith has pulled away a little bit on the 4 of Nemechek. But John Hunter staying within striking distance, and still, as we go under 40 to go, still no cautions other than the stage breaks. Everybody's got a set of tires left, so if we would get one for sure, they're coming to pit road.
You got that right. And if I'm the crew chief, I'm on my pit crew coach saying, you get these guys loosened up and limber, this is going to be the money stop. We've seen how important getting the jump at the start is early on, and again after the first stage.
Stuart Friesen is 12th. Regan?
Well, Vince, I want to go back to something that happened at the end of stage 2. As we were coming to the conclusion of that stage, Stuart Friesen thought he had a right rear tire going down. That was roughly 60 green flag laps on that truck. A number of other trucks had started complaining about their tires right at that moment as well. I got a question. If they do go green the rest of this race, 100 laps, these guys are going to be crawling around the racetrack because there will be no rubber left on those tires. They will have no grip. It's going to get real interesting to see who can hold on to them and who cannot.
Yeah, and Regan, also, one might wear all the way through, blow out, and cause a caution.
Oh, right there's a caution right there.
One. Around goes the 33 of Nick Lights, and the 42 of Hocevar involved in that.
Well,
hey, Regan, they're going to get new tires now.
Every one of them, Regan. Every one of them will have 4 new tires.
Tough break for Nick making his 2nd start.
See if we can get a look at how this happened.
Hocevar was right there with him, and some pretty heavy damage to the back end of that 33.
You see he ran into him right as he was getting lapped by Chandler Smith. Obviously right now he is the lead truck, not on the lead lap, but they may deem that he caused that caution and they may not give him the free pass. That'll be a decision that NASCAR will have to make.
If you're involved in the caution, you don't get the free pass. And it's a little bit hard to see. Like Carson just didn't turn left when he got to the corner. After being involved in the accident last race, see if we can get a better look on board.
Oh, the 33 gets sideways. Now we've got the 18 inside of Hocevar right here.
Probably just doesn't look like anything intentional, did it? To you, Phil?
No, he was just racing the 18, trying to beat the 18 down to the corner, I think. And I think it surprised him a little bit that Nick maybe had backed off a little more than he had thought.
So the first caution of the night, other than the 2 stage break cautions, and that's going to be open up opportunities on pit road as we listen to the radio from the 42 of Hocevar.
What is up? You can't turn under me when I got the damn leader in front of me.
Huh? Maybe it was intentional. That didn't look great because you saw how here they come. Let's get these pit stops covered, and then maybe we'll revisit that crash.
Key stops right here. The 18 of Chandler Smith, the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek on pit road, as are all the lead lap trucks. Regan?
It's Ty Majeski continuing to try and rebound after such a good first stage. That truck, no drive off right now for him, and Grant Enfinger in the 23 truck. Right now it holds on for 4 or 5 laps with good grip, but after that the truck goes loose and keeps getting looser. Josh?
We went to the 18 of Chandler Smith. He said he had great maneuverability in stage 2. He said whatever we had in that stage, do that again. They said they're not going to make any adjustments, though. John Hunter Nemechek said he was losing a little bit of turn. If they make any adjustments, it'll be an air pressure adjustment, guys.
Great pit work again by Danny Stockman's guys for Chandler Smith. Make sure we have no penalties on any of our lead lap trucks. NASCAR is saying that Carson Hocevar was actually in front of the leader when that happened. So he actually is on the lead lap, according to NASCAR.
And Chase Purdy.
And Chase Purdy will get the free pass finish, you're right.
Well, then here it is. Take a look at it right here, the 42, just ahead of the 18. Boy, that was close. Coming back for the finish.
Caution is out on the racetrack for the first time today, setting up a restart here on lap 218. Look at that front row, 2 Toyotas, 2 KBM trucks leading the field to green, but just behind them in the 3rd position, that's the pole sitter, the 66 of Ty Majeski. Now it's worth noting the history here at Richmond Raceway in this series. The last 4 short track winners, it was their very first win of the season, and 6 of 13 Truck Series races here at Richmond have been won from the pole. Ty Majeski, this would be his first win of the season. In fact, if he were to pull it off tonight, it would be the first of his Truck Series career, and of course would lock him into round 2.
In 100 days, the biggest sporting event on the planet returns to Fox Sports, and for the first time ever, it's taking over the holiday season. The FIFA World Cup, live from Qatar. It starts November 20th on Fox and FS1. Great night here in Richmond, Virginia. Boy, what a beautiful evening it has been. The fans enjoying some good Truck Series racing. Camping World Truck Series playoff race number 2. We've just had our first caution for trouble on track, and that's going to set us up for the sprint to the finish with 28 to go when they take the green.
Kind of like a 30 lapper here to finish this thing off.
Chandler Smith has taken the outside. That puts John Hunter on the bottom. That outside has been a big advantage so far. I think there's just maybe a little bit more grip up there top, so that he can fire off better.
He's had some incredible restarts, the 2 he's had the lead.
Chandler on the outside, John Hunter on the inside. That's Enfinger and Majeski in row 2, and look at that Chandler Smith jump. on the start. Can Majeski get up and secure second from Nemechek? No, John Hunter fights back on the inside.
Remember, cautions breed cautions, guy. 3 wide off of 2.
Everybody's got fresh tires and feeling a lot better about themselves.
Matt Crafton 3 wide on the bottom.
Contact, but still pointed the right direction. Back just inside the top 10.
About Friesen there, back in the top 10. Was on the verge of going a lap down because of his pit road penalty.
Speaking of pit road penalties, Haley Deegan, Rajah Carew, Chase Purdy, and Lane Riggs all got penalties on that sequence of pit stops. But none of the front runners. Chandler Smith leads, John Hunter Nemechek second, but Majeski right there, as is Grant Enfinger.
Majeski took a look on the inside of Nemechek. I thought he was going to lose enough momentum that Enfinger might take a run at him.
Look at Grant, really strong on the outside. He's going to get out there too.
Enfinger, the winner of the playoff opener at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Could he make it 2 in a row? It's happened before. Brett Moffitt and Sheldon Creed both out of the GMS stable, as Enfinger is. Opened the playoffs with consecutive wins. Enfinger's got some work to do, but he's inside the top 5 and having another good run.
He's close to making that outside work. He could have just a little bit more speed right in the center of the corner.
Got to be careful though. There's Corey Hive in the fence spot. He's creeping up in to take a look on the inside of Enfinger, as you see Carson Hocevar after that contact.
Trying to get 10th away from Ankrum.
Yeah, Hocevar was able to get by Friesen. A couple laps ago, you see Zane Smith lurking there in the 38 truck.
Zane Smith came into the playoffs as the playoff favorite. Finished 3rd at IRP and hasn't been his night tonight. Spent almost the entire night outside the top 5 and some of it outside the top 10.
I would say overwhelming favorite, Vince, coming in the playoffs.
A couple of great battles. Carson Hocevar trying his best to get inside of Tyler Ankrum, just can't make it work, and Friesen looks on. You see Matt Crafton. He's been running 7th, 8th all night long, and there he is again, trying to get the 7th spot away.
And racing with his teammate Christian Eckes at every single stage they've raced together.
Yeah, Crafton and Eckes will be tired of looking at each other by the end of this one tonight, as you see Crafton secure the position, and Zane Smith on the right-hand side was battling with Friesen as Chandler Smith comes across. 20 to go. Our Camping World 20 to go from Richmond.
What a dominating truck that 18 is for Chandler Smith.
What a great job he's done behind the wheel too. Just like we said in the opening, just I love where he's at mentally. Very, very confident in his ability. He just thinks he's better than everybody else. Tonight he's proven that he is.
Back to the battle between Hocevar and Ankrum.
It won't go away. Tyler Ankrum's digging for that top 10 finish.
He's had 2 top 5s here in the 2 times he's been to Richmond.
And coming off a season best 6th at IRP, and they have definitely got things pointed in the right direction. Took them a while, but much improved. Kraus way up the track as Eckes gets around for 8th.
Yeah, I think Eckes hit him getting in the corner. Just saw him to the inside, and away went Kraus. Can he get back to him?
Yeah, he's had a solid run here. I think Kraus had already gotten by Eckes, and then Eckes gave him a little nudge, moved him up the racetrack. Maybe that was returning the favor. Maybe there was a little bit of a nudge on the other side of that.
There's the spot for Carson. He gets around Ankrum, and it's opened up the door for Zane Smith to do the same. Look at that squirt through the center of the corner.
Yes, Smith is going to get that position from Ankrum, although Ankrum trying to fight back on the outside, but Zane Smith has the advantage on the bottom.
Every one of those positions matters. When Hocevar got by Ankrum, that was another point.
Stuart Friesen's back there behind Ankrum, licking his chops. Now I need to go get that point. You know, we talk about just win, baby. That's great, but you see his position, you want that 1 point as bad as you want the win. These guys are racing for their playoff lives. If your name isn't Grant Enfinger, anyway.
Well, that's the great thing about the sport, I think. You know, certainly one guy's going to win and everybody goes in hoping to win, but there are so many other little accomplishments along the way that are available to you if you can get them. And while Chandler Smith seems to be the class of the field at this stage of the race, there's still a lot on the line for all these other drivers, not just the playoff guys.
This is as fast as Carson Hocevar has been all night long. We heard him report at the end of stage 2 after 5 or 6 laps. He said, y'all hit it. You've got our truck better. And now, been able to run inside the top 10 up to 9th. And there's Christian Eckes just ahead trying to get the 8th spot.
See that yellow truck right side of your screen. Middle of 1 and 2, Matt Crafton. The solid night for Matt Crafton. Stage points in both stages, running in the top 10 here. Came in below the cut line. Knew he needed a good run here to try to get him in position when we go to Kansas for the finale of this round, and he's done that.
There's Crafton, 3-time champ. Got a little bit of a gap that he's opened up over the 8th place running Eckes.
You do remember where Matt Crafton's last win was, don't you?
No.
Kansas.
Kansas.
Oh.
Where do we go next?
Kansas?
Kansas, yes.
You got any more pop quizzes for me?
Where Zane Smith in that 38 won most recently at
Kansas.
Let's see, developing a theme here.
I feel like it's one of the most competitive tracks on the circuit is Kansas.
10 laps remaining at Richmond. Chandler Smith with what seems like a comfortable advantage, almost 3 seconds, but
you never
know what happens.
Take care of it.
They're trying to whoa their horsey up. Just win by a foot. We don't need to win by 10 seconds. What do you do if you're Chandler Smith? You know, I like to get in the front and then back it down for sure, because you're going to need those tires if there's a restart in these last 10 laps.
Well, and how many times have drivers had a lead with 9 to go and not won it when they seem like they had for sure the race in the bag? As you see Friesen giving a little nudge to Ankrum.
Remember that 1 point I was telling you about, Vince? That's how bad he wanted that spot. See if he can finish the deal here versus Ankrum. Gave him a little nudge.
Ankrum's fighting back. You see Friesen give him some room on the high side.
And that's Ankrum now in 13th. And I got to tell you that even though that's respectable, that's going to be disappointing for them, because they have run much better than that tonight. They have been a top 10 truck for sure.
But you look at the guys up there racing, even outside the top 10. Derek Kraus, who's had a strong run. Friesen, that was up in the top 5 for much of this race. You mentioned Ankrum. Chase Purdy with a great run running in 14th. Just a solid field of trucks, and nobody has had any issues. Nobody has had any sort of a mechanical problem that of these front runners.
Chandler Smith won twice in the playoffs a year ago, including the season finale, but he wasn't in the championship 4, so he obviously didn't win the championship. It was last year's Rookie of the Year. But he is in the championship mix again, and certainly looks to be one of the strongest, as you see Zane Smith close up on Carson Hocevar for 9th.
One of those points we were talking about right there.
And Hocevar's closing up on Eckes just ahead. I think the elimination line is going to be even tighter than it was before. There's just so many competitive trucks right around that area. Isn't that crazy that just one position can keep you out of running for that championship, and these drivers know it, and they're going to race accordingly?
A few years ago, Ben Rhodes qualified for the playoffs on a tie, but he had a better finish than his competitor, and he got in the playoffs.
3 laps remaining. The battles continue for those much sought after points. Watching Eckes, Hocevar, and Smith, 8th, 9th, and 10th. The teams will get about a 3-week break, and then they'll get back at it at Kansas. And for some of these teams, that break will be welcomed.
It gives you a chance to tune up your stuff, too.
Remember last year, KBM finished 1st, 2nd, and 4th. That race was in April. We come back here in the fall, race at night, or the summer, excuse me, race at night. And KBM is going to finish 1st, 2nd, and 5th if they stay like they're running.
Final lap. Chandler Smith. A new dad. And on the verge of becoming a winner again. It'll be his 3rd win of the season and his 4th career victory. Chandler Smith wins at Richmond. Said he was fortunate to finish 4th last year. They said they didn't have that good of a truck. Well, there was no luck in this one tonight. It was pure domination for Chandler Smith.
176 laps led.
That's a
Hell of a job. This truck treats us really good, I'm not going to lie.
I'd save it for Phoenix then, I think.
Yeah, this track has some characteristics of that Phoenix Raceway. He dominated out there last year. If I'm the crew chief, I'm saying, okay, that's fun, but let's take care of that, baby.
Don't rip the quarter panels off with flat tires.
We need her.
Way to show up at your racetrack. Get you one for your little man first race. Take a trophy home to him.
Yeah, Chandler Smith Jr. doesn't understand what his dad did tonight. Not yet, but there will be a time where he will know that the first time Pops raced after he was born, well, Dad took care of business and brought home the trophy to Junior. And I think with this convincing win has put the rest of the playoff drivers on alert as well. There's another guy vying to be the championship favorite.
Yeah, I made him my championship favorite before this race started because of his attitude and just the speed, the performance, his grittiness. He and Zane Smith, probably the 2 favorites right now, wouldn't you say, Phil?
Absolutely, yeah.
Grant Enfinger says, hold on a minute.
Yeah. I know I'm going to the next round. What about me?
Forgotten so soon. Regan Smith is with the win. It's just a Smith party going on down there. Do it, Regan.
Well, Chandler Smith, I don't know if there's anybody that's had a better couple weeks than you. You become a new dad a little over a week ago. Today, you check into the next round of the playoffs with a absolutely dominant performance. You got the lead at the end of stage 2, or end of stage 1, and never look back.
Dude, God is so good. Like you just said, I'm a daddy now. My wife, she had such an amazing labor and delivery. We have an amazing, beautiful baby boy at home. Honey, this is for you. Junior, this is for you as well. I can't wait to get home to you guys tonight. God is so good. I mean, the fact that the blessings just keep stacking up. I have an incredible group behind me with KBM, incredible partners with Charge Me, Quick Tie Products, Safe Flight, everybody. It's just, I'm taking this in. I don't know what I've done to deserve it, but I'm going to soak it in and keep giving all glory to the Lord.
You mentioned the incredible group behind you, Danny Stockman, your crew chief, your entire race team at Kyle Busch Motorsports. Did you guys just serve notice tonight that the championship goes through this 18 truck?
I'll leave that to you guys. Just like I said at Media Day, if the good Lord wants it to be our championship, it will. If it's not, it's not. But I like how everything's going right now for sure.
Chandler Smith, your winner at Richmond.
A dominating performance for sure. He led 176 of the 250 laps. 20-year-old Chandler Smith, winner at Richmond.